Today is the 24th verse, a very beautiful verse. And before we get there, let's begin by invoking the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by offering prayers. Request all of you to join me as I offer these prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we will sing a special bhajan. Given that in 2 weeks' time we are going to observe the most auspicious day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, which is known as Gaura Purnima. This falls on the same day as Holi. On Falguna, in the Falguna Masa, the Purnima is the day that we observe as Gaura Purnima, the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our new year begins with the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why it's called Gaurabda. Every year is called as Gaurabda. From the time of his advent, it is calculated. So we have crossed about 500 years from his appearance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in 1486 in Mayapur. And he is none other than Krishna himself, who advented as Bhakta Avatar to inaugurate this Nama Sankirtana all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada is an Acharya who is coming in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and propagating the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let's, this is a bhajan which is composed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our Purvacharyas, which is sung every day in the evening around 7 o'clock in all the centers, all the Hare Krishna centers. So let's get started with that. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is visualizing the glorious Arati ceremony that is being performed for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the most exalted personalities in this universe, like Lord Brahma, like Lord Shiva, and he is taking great pleasure in witnessing the Arati of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please sing along with me. कि बजया जय गौरा चांदे आरती का शोभा कि बजया जय गौरा चांदे आरती का शोभा जान बिताता वाले जगमान लोभा जाना बिताता वाले जगमान लोभा कि बदखी ने निताई तात पमे गदाधारा कि बदखी ने निताई तात पमे गदाधारा निकटे अद्वैतासिनी वासा चक्रधारा शिव बशी आथे गौरा रत्न सिंहसानी शिव बशी आथे गौरा रत्न सिंहसानी आरती को रे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने शिव नरा हरि आदि कोरी श्यामर दुलाया शिव नरा शिव नरा हरि आदि कोरी श्यामर धुलाया संजय मुकुंद भासु घोषादि गाया शिव शंखा भजे घंटा भाजे भाजे करताला शिव शंखा भाजे घंटा भाजे भाजे करताला माधुरा मृदंगा भाजे परमरसाला शिव बहु कोटि चंद्राजिनी वदन उज्ज्वला शिव बहु कोटि चंद्राजिनी वदन उज्ज्वला भाला देशे बनमाला कोरे झलमाला शिव शिवा सुख नारदा प्रेमे गद गदा शिव शिवा सुख नारदा प्रेमे गद गदा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गोरार संपादा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गोरार संपादा शिव जया जय गौरा चांदे आरती का शोभा जाना बिताता वाने जगमान लोबा जाना बिताता वाने जगमान लोबा Vinod Thakur Prabhupada. Jai Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada. Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada. Jai Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe. Jai Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe. Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Vrindavan Dham. Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram. Jai Vrindavan Dham. Jai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai. Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev Prabhupada Gurudev Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan Mahayagna ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let's begin with the verse for the day, Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, verse number 24. And I'm sharing the screen with all of you. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, entitled Content of the Gita Summarized, verse number 24. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shosya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanur achaloyam sanatanaha. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shosya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanuh achaloyam sanatanaha. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shosya evacha Nitya Sarvagata Sthanuhu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. Anybody would like to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall I try?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Achedyo aham dayo akledo shosya evacha nityah sarvagata sthanur acholayam sanatanaha.
Thank you.
Shall I try, Guruji?
Yes, please.
Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shosya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha.
Thank you. Anybody else? Synonyms. Achedyaha, unbreakable. I am the soul. Adahyaha, cannot be burned. I am the soul. Akledyaha, insoluble. Ashoshyaha, cannot be dried. Eva, certainly. Cha, and Nityaha, everlasting. Sarvagataha, all pervading. Sthanuhu, unchangeable. Achalaha, immovable. I am the soul. Sanatanaha, eternally the same. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Translation. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Purport. All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. The word sarvagataha, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word sarvagataha, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. There is a big question some of the elite people on this planet are pursuing. A big question. Does life exist in other planets outside of this wonderful world that we all inhabit? Does life exist? And just to understand how seriously they're pursuing this question, I just want to share some statistics and some data with you. Now, okay, so let me get started with this. There is we are all aware of a National Aeronautical and Space Administration, NASA. This is the space agency of the United States. So they have a separate wing for exoplanet exploration, planets beyond our solar. Exoplanet is a planet which is beyond the solar system. And you can see the search for life. Are we alone? Can we find life? The habitable zone. Why we search? So what they have been doing is trying to find out planets which have similar conditions like that is there on Earth, which can facilitate life. And they talk of something called as habitable zone, which means if there is a planet which is revolving around a star and it has liquid water on its surface, then there is a very great possibility of life existing. And let's hear more on what they're talking as. Let me share this thing with you. Yes, let's watch this.
We inhabit a little blue planet called Earth. Earth is habitable because it had the right conditions and ingredients to enable life as we know it to evolve and flourish. And one of the most important factors in making our blue planet habitable is the wet stuff itself, water. It's kind of extremely important for life. When it comes to the search for habitable exoplanets, planets outside our solar system, we think the ability to have liquid water on a planet's surface is just as important for those worlds. There's a handy concept astronomers use to help them figure out where to look around any given star for exoplanets that just might have the right stuff for life. It's called the habitable zone. It's the distance from a star where a rocky planet with an atmosphere could have liquid water on its surface. In our solar system, the habitable zone extends from around the orbit of Venus to around the orbit of Mars. Earth happens to be nice and comfy in the middle. But it takes more than just a good location. Orbiting in the habitable zone does not guarantee a planet will be habitable. After all, the moon is right here with us, but it's certainly not habitable. Sorry, Moon. The location of the habitable zone depends on how big and bright a star is. The nearest star to our sun, Proxima Centauri, has at least one planet in the habitable zone. But because Proxima is much smaller and dimmer than our sun, its habitable zone is way smaller and closer to the star. So every star has a habitable zone, but that doesn't mean there will be planets there. For example, the star known as Kepler-90 is similar to our sun, and it too has 8 planets. But they're all huddled super close to the star, well inside of the habitable zone. But the longer we look, the more likely it becomes that one day we'll find another little blue, water-covered planet right in its own comfy habitable zone. And that would be a planet worth a closer look indeed.
This is a video from NASA to educate commoners on what is the work that they're doing, which will, and they have some dashboards which talks about, where is the dashboard? Yeah, let me see this, if this is the one that, yeah, so look at this. They have confirmed 5,000 exoplanets where life is possible. So they're pursuing this very vigorously with advanced instruments. And let me now share with you, what is the price they're paying for this research? How much of money is going in? I just did a little bit of research and I could find out that, yes, I opened their budget sheet and I was seeing, this is NASA's 2021 plan for deep space exploration systems. They've got many other departments where they're doing so much of research, STEM engagement and all that. So given that this is more to concern with life in other planets, they're spending, this is in $1 million, they're spending $6,500 million, which is 6.5 trillion dollars. So this number was too big, and I was not able to comprehend what is the 6.5 trillion dollars that they're spending. So I just tried to find out. That is, it's almost equivalent to about 5 trillion pounds, if you were to see from the pounds perspective. We are in UK, so let's speak from pounds. And I was thinking, what can you buy in a trillion pound? So I searched with, the Buckingham Palace. The Buckingham Palace is worth around 1 billion pounds. That means in around 5 trillion pounds, that means 5,000 Buckingham Palaces you can buy every year with the money that they're spending. The Wembley Stadium, it costs around, if you have to build a Wembley Stadium today, it costs around 1.2 billion pounds to construct the Wembley Stadium. So that would be somewhere around 4,500 Wembley stadiums you can buy every year with the money that they're spending for figuring out, does life exist? So like this, so we can see the magnitude of the money that is being spent for addressing this profound question: does life exist on other planets? And this is the money which one government is spending, US government. I do not know if other governments are also having similar space exploration programs to find out if exoplanets exist. I do not know. I'm just talking from what the wealthiest nation is doing and how much money they are spending. This is, but as far as students of Bhagavad Gita are concerned, we don't have to endeavor to spend this much money to get. They're spending this money for so many years now, then they still don't have an answer to that. They're only getting bewildered to see the. They have confirmed that there are nearly 5,000 exoplanets where life is possible by exploring into the nearby stars and their solar systems. But whether life exists, and that is still something which they're not able to ascertain. So from this verse today, we see Krishna is giving us a definitive answer. He's saying, Sarvagataha. Sarvagataha means the spirit soul is present everywhere in this material creation, everywhere. I was looking at the prevalence of life is so wonderful. It's hard to imagine. You know, if I take a square centimeter of my skin on any human being's skin, in 1 square centimeter, there are about 1 million bacteria, and that's the count. 1 million bacteria are present in just 1 square centimeter. That many living entities. So you can just imagine how many living entities exist. That's why it said they're all pervading. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. We may not be able to see them. We may not be able to see the living entities everywhere because of our defective vision. But that doesn't mean they do not exist. So this is where the approach which a student of a Vedic knowledge accepts vis-a-vis the approach of a person who is a student of modern science varies. Because so long somebody is trying to acquire knowledge through modern scientific methodologies, it is purely dependent on that individual's observation and experimentation. And because this is called as pratyaksha pramana, this way of acquiring knowledge, pratyaksha, with your senses, you try to acquire knowledge, what is visible to you through your eyes, through your ears, through your sense of touch, taste. So this is through your gross senses. And then you theorize. This is anumana pramana. You speculate. So this way of acquiring knowledge is not a very a foolproof method of acquiring knowledge, because our senses are limited. Like, for example, I can appreciate visible light in the wavelength of 4,000 to 9,000 angstroms. I cannot appreciate infrared rays. I cannot appreciate with my naked eye the ultraviolet rays, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. I'm not able to appreciate. My ears can comprehend frequencies between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So if there are ultrasonic waves, I will not be able to comprehend. Likewise, there are radio waves, many electromagnetic radiations. These are all things that we cannot perceive with our gross senses, which is why the Vedic scriptures, they propose the perfect way of acquiring knowledge through Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means by receiving from an authority. You do not uh, waste your time trying to comprehend, analyze with your imperfect senses and gain knowledge. That way you will simply waste your valuable life and you will never be able to reach the perfect understanding of things as they are. But if you hear from an authorized source, like an acharya, like the Shastra, like from the Supreme Lord, all these sources are coming from the Supreme Lord. They're representatives of the Supreme Lord. Then you will have perfect access. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita today we're reading, Krishna is saying, the spirit soul is sarvagataha. He's present everywhere. He's present on all the planetary systems. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is saying, or even before coming to that point, this method, Shabda Praman, is the perfect way. And we all have examples of this. Today, we are reading about what's happening in Ukraine. So many news channels are telling Zelensky saying like this, Putin said like this city is captured, they attacked Chernobyl site, and this economic sanctions. I'm relying on this news source. Whatever this news media is telling me, I'm having full faith and accepting it as truth. I'm not in a position to verify whether Zelensky has actually said this, whether he actually posted in the media, whether this is what Putin. I don't know all these things, but I have full faith in what the media is saying and accept it as it is. So like that, all of us are examples. I have accepted my father as my father because my mother has told me. I have not gone and done a DNA fingerprinting of my father to accept that this is my father. My mother has told me, this is your father. So I accept. This is how we have accepted our father. Nobody has accepted our father just by doing some experiment and analysis of DNA, which is possible, but is that the way we have accepted our father as our father? Who is the best person who can tell you about your father? Your mother. She knows. She can tell you. So you take her version and you have the perfect knowledge. So the Acharya, because he's a representative Supreme Lord, he has perfect knowledge. The Shastras are perfect. The Supreme Lord is a source of all Vedic knowledge. So their statements we accept and we live our life accordingly, saving all the unnecessary botherations of unnecessary time waste, money waste. All this money, what is this? This is the small portion of NASA's budget. We saw some $6,500 trillion per year. Who is paying that? Taxpayers are paying. You work hard and that money is going for all this frivolous exploration. So, because there is no proper direction. And for somebody if somebody is intelligent enough that Krishna is saying this, so I accept. The Acharya is saying this, so I accept. Then he's freed from so much of botheration. He's free from so much of botheration and he can very quickly come to understand about life, why we are here. So, this is called as the descending process of acquiring knowledge. One way is that by your senses, you do research, you come to some conclusion, you speculate, you hypothesize, you theorize, you come to something that is called ascending process. And then there is another process called descending process. There is already perfect knowledge. You have to approach the right source, like you approach your mother and she will tell you who is their father. That's all. You'll get the complete answer. You don't have to speculate. You don't have to do experimentation. No, you save your time and you find out the right person. And then you start, you can use your time to do other things. Now that I know this is what I'm here for, let me pursue how to qualify myself to be eligible to go back to Krishna. So you can use your time in more meaningful activities rather than pursuing frivolous things and wasting your whole life without coming to any conclusion. This is ascending process for the less intelligent people. So Krishna is saying, else, in many places in the Bhagavad Gita, he's talking about, he's giving many, he's sharing knowledge by which we can infer that there are so many planetary systems where there are so many living entities. That's like if somebody has to go to space. What do these astronauts, what kind of dress they wear? You cannot go with a chaddar and a kurta and a dhoti and go to the outer space. You cannot wear jeans and t-shirt and go to outer space. You have to wear a special space suit which will regulate the temperature, which will nullify the radiations, which will regulate the pressure, because you're in zero gravity. And so there are so many factors that is taken care by this special space. That means you require an appropriate body to exist in a particular circumstance. So on earthly planet, living entities have bodies where earth element is more predominant. Likewise, in sun planet, there are living entities who have got fiery bodies. But we have no understanding of this. Modern science has got no understanding of fiery bodies. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham abhyayam vivaswan manave praha manurikshvakabe brabit. Krishna is saying, I spoke originally, before speaking to you, Arjuna, I spoke this knowledge to Vivaswan. Who is Vivaswan? He's sun god. It's like there is Boris Johnson is the prime minister. There is a queen of UK, United Kingdom. There is a queen called Elizabeth. Like that, there is Joe Biden, who is the president of America. Like that, there is the president of the sun planet. There's the predominating deity. He is the emperor of the sun planet. His name is Vivaswan. So if there is a emperor, then there must be citizens also. So we get information. There are societies on the sun planet. There are roads. There are conveyances. There are chariots. There are trees. There are animals. There is all kinds of civilization that's existing on this planet. Likewise on the moon planet. Likewise on other planets. So these are all information. So like that, there are upper planets. There are lower planets. And there is description about the activities of the upper planets. There are Charanas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas. There are the residents who are living in the Swargaloka. Above Swargaloka is Tapoloka, Janoloka, Maharloka, Brahmaloka. And then downwards, Tala, Atala, Sutala, Rasatala, Patala. Like that, there are many planets below the earthly planetary systems. Like that, there are 14 planetary systems. So this whole conception of this cosmos is very wonderfully described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we understand that these planets are all filled with living entities. They're filled with living entities. So it all comes down to the having faith in the right sources. Just like we are putting our faith in the media channel which is selling, today this city was bombed, today this happened. You have no way of verifying it yourself, but you put your faith in this media channel. BBC is saying, some reporter is talking, some pictures are being played. You believe that because you have put your faith there. Like that, one requires to put faith in what the Acharya is saying. Same thing. You're anyway applying your faith in so many things where you have no options to verify by your own senses, and you take that as granted. You take that as truth. Same faith you apply on what Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying that I'm present in the holy name. You should have faith. Yes. This sound vibration, Hare Krishna. This is not an ordinary sound vibration. Krishna is present in his Nama. This Nama is because Krishna is present. It is all powerful. Nam Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. Yes, Krishna has said this. I'm present with all my energies in my Nama. So I have faith. This prasadam which is offered to the Lord is not ordinary. I have faith. So the advancement in Krishna consciousness means deepening of your faith in Guru and Krishna's instructions. You believe what the Lord is saying. There is life after this life. This is not the end of our existence. Krishna is saying, Dehino spinyata dehe, tata dehantara praptihi. You will get another body after death. Death means what? You will move from this body to another body. I have faith. Yes, Krishna has told this. It's not the end of my life. I will be judged according to my actions, according to my desires. Oh, then I should be careful. So when you accept these statements as truth, then your whole perception towards life will change. You will see life through the eyes of Bhagavad Gita. If I'm not able to see the world through the eyes of Bhagavad Gita, that means I lack faith. And a person who is very faithful and with all earnestness, he carries out the instructions. Krishna awards him transcendental realization, which is why Krishna is saying in the 4th chapter that Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. Anybody who understands the transcendental nature of my birth and my activities. What's so special about Krishna's birth and Krishna's activities? They are divyam. Janma karma cha me yo divyam. They're transcendental. And it requires faith to appreciate that. This is not an ordinary. Krishna is not an ordinary person. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Why are we interested in hearing the words of some ordinary person? Why we should break our head and sit and discuss every Sunday, spending 1 hour for the last 1 year, and we are going on. If he is an ordinary person, why we should discuss his words? Because he is transcendental personality. How is he transcendental? Yes, that we should try to understand. If somebody doesn't have faith, then they will not be able to understand. And when you understand, Janma karma chameyo divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. When you vetti tattvataha means when you realize in truth who is Krishna, what are Krishna's activities, how they're transcendental, what is the result? Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. When you give up this current body, tyaktva means giving up. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. You will not have to enter into another birth. Punarjanma naiti. And what happens to him? Where does he go? Mameti. Tyaktva deham punarjanma mameti. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. Mameti. He will come back to me. This is Krishna's word. So a devotee has faith. Krishna is saying, yes, if I pursue this path, I will go back to Krishna. So, for the very fact that you're attending these sessions, it's because you are faithful. You are having some faith. Maybe there is something interesting to know. This person, maybe he's talking something which may be valuable to me. Let me come and hear. I may not be fully accepting whatever he says, but at least I may get to know something valuable. Let me see. That is the beginning of this journey. Ado Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. What happens? With some faith, you have come. Everybody comes with a little faith. Oh, these are some nice people. They're talking something. Let me go in here. You come. And then what happens? You're associating with the devotees. Sadhu Sangha is happening. So when you associate with devotees, what will be the result? Then you will cooperate. You will try to follow what the devotees are saying. We are talking about that we should chant Hare Krishna mantra. Okay, let me try chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Yesterday I was speaking to one devotee who's regularly attending these sessions. I was so happy. Mataji was mentioning that she's chanting one round every day without fail. And now she wants to start reading on a daily basis. So 1 year before, this was not the case, but now she's made progress. Every day without fail, and some days even more. So what has happened by us? Because we are being a part of Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya happens. Because sadhus will say, tomorrow is Ekadashi, we should fast, we should chant. These are 4 regulative principles we should follow. 4 sinful activities we should give up. Okay, so maybe there is some, let me try to follow this. You'll put some efforts, you'll start trying to implement to these things. Bhajana Kriya. Then as a result, what will happen? Anartha nivritta syat, anartha, all the unwanted things will start going away. All the deep-rooted attachments, all the unwanted urges, desires, material desires for sense enjoyment, lust, greed, envy, all this will start withering away. And you can experience that. There's a great sense of freedom. And then as you start experiencing, this is called purification. Purification is happening. As purification becomes more and more and more, then what happens? Then there is asakti, you become attached to the process. You will not want to give up chanting. You will not want to give up associating with devotees. You would, then slowly that asakti, attachment will develop more to become ruchi. Ruchi means you'll develop taste. Oh, I want to witness Arati of Krishna. I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to rise early in the morning and chant Hare Krishna mantra during Brahma Muhurta. I want. This taste will start coming. Ruchi. So, asakti, nishtha. Nishtha means it becomes you become very determined. I will never give this up. This is how I want to live my life. This is it. No going back. Fixed up. Determined. Nishtha. Then ruchi, more taste develops. When you start developing from the stage of anartha nivritti itself, you'll start becoming more and more lighter, freed from all the clutches of these lower gunas. You are rising from tamo guna, rajo guna to sattva guna. Transcendental realization dawns upon. Your worldview will change. You will no longer be attached to the same things that were pulling you before. You will lose interest because now you're getting a higher taste. Once you get a higher taste, you will give up all lower taste. Tuchha, you'll want to give it up. Then comes bhava. Ecstatic feelings starts coming. Ecstatic feelings. And then the highest stage of prema bhakti. Prema bhakti. You will fall in love with Krishna. You cannot live a moment without Krishna. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. This is the feeling of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam. Without Krishna, the whole world becomes vacant, empty. Govinda virahena me. You cannot give up. You'll be so attached. Life becomes meaningless if there is no Krishna. You would rather give up your life rather than live without thinking of Krishna and serving Krishna. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. It is said that these are the of all the exalted devotees, the gopis are considered the topmost. And in their life, as we read through the pages of Bhagavatam, we understand what was the level of attachment they had. What was the level of love for Krishna that they had. They were so exalted, which is why we worship them. They were blaming Brahma. That is, Brahma is a fool. He doesn't know how to create eyes because he has created an eyelid which is flapping and closing my vision of Krishna. These eyelids are obstructing the nectar of Krishna's beauty. How foolish this Brahma is. They were cursing Brahma because they didn't want to take their eyes off Krishna. They were so absorbed. So like that, there are many descriptions. So that stage will come. And how does it all begin? It begins with Adho Shraddha, some faith. Oh yes, these are some well-meaning people. Let me hear. Something good is there, which I can learn in my life. Let me listen to them. So likewise, Krishna is saying, if we have this submissive attitude, Guru is saying, Krishna is saying, it cannot be wrong. They are all perfect personalities. Let me accept. Let me follow. I don't give value to my intelligence, my mind, which is having its own arguments, its own reasoning. No. You keep aside. You just shut your mouth. You listen. Whatever Guru is saying, you follow. Whatever Krishna is saying is truth. You follow. Of course, accepting that as truth, we can try to better appreciate that through logic and reasoning. But we don't question. We don't question the fact how it can be true. No. It is true. But in what way it is true? I'm not able to understand right now, but let me understand better. I don't question the fact that it is true. That there is acceptance of the statement. So, like this, we see wonderful revelations by Lord Krishna in helping us understand why we are here, what we are doing, what is this creation all about. Helping us to appreciate the purpose of our existence. And the easiest way to do that is to assimilate all of that is by having faith in what Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra are stating. And then everything will be glorious. Everything will be successful. So on that note, we will stop here. If there are any questions, any comments, we will discuss once we complete our chanting of 108 times the Hare Krishna mantra. So let us chant in sync with Prabhupada. Here I'm sharing the screen.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
So that was 108 times the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. If any of you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I was
Yes, Madam.
just observing that God has made us, given us both eyes and ears and same structure right throughout, no matter where we are born in the world. But the conscious level is also the same, I hope. But in the name of the power or greed or progress or whatever it is, people act differently or behave differently. But I just feel it sometimes that with the conscious not bite, how can they go to sleep at night time by doing atrocities or doing wrong things, what we think is not right, but to them they think it's right. But so how is that conscious level is jagrat, awaken into them? Just my observation. I just feel that
Yeah.
sometimes.
No, it's true. Very nice observation. Each person is amongst human beings. There are 400,000 species out of the 84 lakh species. 4 lakh human beings are there. And what is this categorization based on? Based on their consciousness. The topmost of all human beings is a pure devotee of the Lord. And the lowest are people who have no better consciousness than an animal consciousness. So there are so many gradations of these consciousness. Just like there are these 3 gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamo guna. They combine in various combinations, and there are so many gradations of consciousness. It is just like there are 3 primary colors: red, blue, green. If you mix these colors in various proportions, you get unlimited variety of colors. Unlimited color. Primary colors are 3. Like that, these 3 gunas, they combine together to create somebody is more rajasic, somebody is more sattvic, somebody is more tamasic, and combinations. And a Vaishnava is above these 3 gunas. Mam chayo abhyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. A devotee, as he makes progress, he transcends the 3 modes. He becomes above. That's the Brahma Bhuta platform. Brahma Bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate param. On that stage, one begins pure devotion service. So different people are in different modes, different gunas. So when somebody is acting without compassion, without mercy, so much selfish, having their own assumptions, these are all symptoms of somebody who is in a lower guna. They're all when you harm others and you don't feel any pain, you don't feel any compassion. So these are all very degraded consciousness. So regardless of what level of consciousness one is situated, the process of bhakti yoga is so wonderful. It can elevate everyone to the topmost platform. Whichever consciousness level that one is, doesn't matter. They can be elevated. The problem is, if we want to improve the world situation, one should endeavor to elevate the consciousness of people. How do you do that? You cannot expect the world to be peaceful simply by endeavoring to improve the standards of sense enjoyment. Nice roads, nice car, nice bridges, big university buildings, this advanced economics, advanced technology. No, this is not the way to bring about peace in society. Increasing the standards of sense gratification is nothing but improving the standards from being an animal to a more polished animal. You're still an animal, but you're a more polished animal. That's where you get. If you want to change the consciousness, elevate the consciousness, then you need to make them God conscious. They have to become Krishna conscious. So, which is why there has to be an arrangement by the state, by the government, by the leaders to make opportunities to people to access Krishna consciousness and help them to train and make progress in Krishna consciousness. This is the whole purpose. The king's duty is to ensure, like we hear in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Maharaj Parikshit was there, the moment he saw that somebody was trying to harm a cow, immediately, he's the emperor, he has got a million assistants, but he personally pulled his sword and went to that Kali Purusha, and he challenged, how dare in my kingdom you harm this cow? How dare? So he was very careful to see that the pillars of dharma are protected, because if people indulge in sinful activities, then they will become degraded in their consciousness. He has to uphold. So he would make sure that everybody is following these principles, which are based on which is based on Bhagavad Dharma. So the king has to know how to create a Krishna conscious society, how to encourage Krishna conscious principles. So, which is why the message of Bhagavad Gita spoken to Sun God. Sun God was the predominating deity of Sun planet, and all the Raja Rishi. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo vidu. This message was, who were the custodians of this knowledge? Raja Rishi. They were Raja. They were kings, saintly kings, Raja Rishi. Because when the leader is in custody, then he can ensure and he can organize a society, ensure that everybody is following Dharma. And there will be a consequence if somebody is not following Dharma. And he will impart punishment to them. So he upholds the law. He will decide. So that was currently there is the government also distance themselves. Don't talk, we don't want to get into, you follow religion, you don't follow religion, or you follow some nonsense religion, we have nothing to do with that. You just give us your tax and we are happy. Secular government. So these are all so that's why there is no direction in the society. The head is doesn't have this conception, then the whole body will suffer. That's what is happening. So apart from this Krishna conscious society today in the world, there is nobody who is endeavoring to restore this understanding of Bhagavad Dharma. And this is exactly what Prabhupada spoke when he went to MIT. He said, MIT is the world's #1 technical institute. And he said, in your university, there's a department for every branch of science, except a department to study the science of the soul. And this is the most important knowledge. This is Raja Vidya. This is the king of all knowledge. If this is lacking, everything else is waste. And he said, our society is the only society which is endeavoring. Although our endeavors are small and there is a lot to do, but then this is the process. Anybody who is coming in touch, they can see, they will become very well behaved. A devotee automatically becomes compassionate. He does not want to harm even an ant, because he knows that is also, just as I am a son of God, that ant is also son of God. I cannot harm that ant. There will be consequence to me. Krishna will not be happy with me, so he will not. So because he's enriched with this transcendental knowledge, it will show in his behavior. He will not discriminate between people, black people, white people. Somebody was telling in this, as these Ukrainian refugees are coming into Poland, those who are black people are not being allowed. Some racism is going on. So like this, all this discrimination will happen. Why? Because he's in bodily concept. A devotee will not make a difference like this. Somebody is trying to exploit the other person. No. So this is the root cause. A person who doesn't want to accept. Everybody has come here with the mentality to lord over others. Everybody has come here trying to imitate Krishna, which is why we are in this prison house. The whole program of Vedic culture, of a spiritual society, is to transform this lording over nature to becoming a to develop servitude, from trying to become master and controllers of everybody else. The transformation that is required is to become servant of God. Once somebody is in the consciousness of being a dasa or a dasi, then automatically they will be having full perspective of how to treat others, how to behave with others. I have no concept. A devotee has no conception that I'm superior to this fellow. Some of these people are meant to be they're of inferior class. They're meant to be like this. We are great. You are this. No. A devotee is working to elevate everybody in their consciousness. He is a servant of everybody to help them become closer to Krishna. That is his job. So that is why it is said, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavata kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate surah harav abhaktasya kuto mahad guna manorathena sati dhavato bhahi. He said, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavata, anybody who has developed devotion to Krishna, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavata kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samas, he will manifest all good qualities. He will manifest all good qualities. They will be humble, they will be patient, they will be gentlemen, they will be very sober, they'll be completely self-controlled, they'll be very compassionate. You'll find that. This is sadhu. And the best example is you should study the life of Prabhupada, how he was. And because he was so qualified, people were attracted to him like magnet. They were wherever he went. Thousands and thousands of people, they were able to appreciate, yes, here is a representative of God. Here is a messenger of God. Let me give my life to him. Yes. With such personalities, which devotees, you will feel secure. They are not here to exploit me. They are my well-wishers. And I will follow what they say. You will surrender. Because you have confidence. This person is not having some ulterior motive. Somehow hook or crook, manipulate you, exploit you, and throw you. No. So, yes, this is the whole purpose. What is going on in the name of education? This is simply a soul-killing education. Soul-killing education. Why? Because the whole purpose of all this modern education is to enable you to become more and more advanced in what? Sense gratification. How to enjoy your senses more and more refined way, polished way. Do what? Sense enjoyment. What is the whole purpose of making all these advancements? Gain more money, some become qualified, make nice money, and then do what? Sense enjoyment. No other goal than this. Success means who can enjoy their senses very nicely, they are very successful people. They are role models. I have no understanding about anything higher than this. This is animal consciousness. So, which is why Krishna chastised. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam anarejishtamaswargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. How have these impurities come upon you? Kutastva kashmalam. Kashmalam means is dirt. This kind of a low thinking. How this has come upon you? Vishame samupastitam. In this hour of crisis, you are behaving like this. Anarejishtam. Anarya is unworthy of an Arya. Arya means one who is progressive in spiritual life. Anarejishtam aswargyam. This kind of weakness will not help you to elevate yourself to heavenly planets also. Akirtikaram Arjuna. This will bring infamy. Krishna was chastising his material consumption. How can you behave like this? Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam anarejishtam aswargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. How can you behave like this? Krishna was very disappointed. Arjuna, you are talking like this? How can I go to fight? My guru is there, Drona is there, Bhishma. How you can speak like this? You have forgotten. And then Krishna educates him once again, so that he can be raised from this material conception to complete perfection of Krishna consciousness. And then Arjuna said, yes, now I have understood. I will do what you say, Krishna. I'm ready to fight. Karishye vachanam tava. Karishye vachanam tava. I will do whatever you say, I will do. I've understood. Nashtab moho smriti labdva. Nashtab moho smriti labdva. Tvat prasadad maya chuta. Stitosmi gata sandehaha. Karishye vachanam tava. Nashtab moha. All my doubts have gone. All my illusions have gone. Stitosmi gata sandehaha. I'm now standing with firm conviction, with all clarity. All my doubts are gone. I shall do what you say. Now he's back in his position. And then the fight began. Then we know what happened after that. So, yes, I see two of you raised hands. Does that help, Mataji?
Yes, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sindhu Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
go ahead.
Prabhuji. Can we say that all the human beings are equally have a bond with equally tamoguna, rajoguna, and sattva-guna
No.
in them, or is it some are born with more sattva-guna than
Yes,
rajoguna?
each person is different. Nobody has got similar. Everybody is different. Each person has got a different based on what we have desired in our past life. We have got a body. Each
also
person has a
guna.
different
Body and
But
the guna come with it.
yeah.
along
The body
with
is a result of guna. Based on each person's body is facilitated by the gunas which govern us. So according to the gunas, we develop taste. Some people, they like sattvic food. Some people like rajasic food. Some people like tamasic food. Again, these are gunas which are acting, by which a person is driven. A person who is situated in a particular guna, he will manifest certain qualities. He will manifest certain likings, desires. All that we can see by their by their desires, by their likes and dislikes. We can make out what guna they are. A person who is situated in sattva guna, he manifests what qualities? Brahmanical qualities. What is that? Samo dhamo tapas shaucham shantir arjavam evava jnana vijnana mastikyam brahma karma sabhavajam. A brahmana is an embodiment of sattva guna. So what is the nature of a person who is situated in sattva guna? Shamaha, damaha. He dedicates his life in controlling his mind, controlling his senses. He is not just going freely, indulging in his senses. He knows that the senses are my enemies. I need to restrain them. I need to control them. I need to engage them in Krishna's service. So shamaha, damaha, tapaha, he practices austerity. Shaucham, cleanliness. They will be clean. Internally clean, externally clean also. Arjavam, simplicity. Shantihi, tolerance. They will be tolerant. They will be very simple. As far as their material needs are concerned, a Brahmana takes a vow of poverty. A vow of poverty and austerity. He will not live an ostentatious life. Because he knows my time and my energy should go towards cultivating Krishna consciousness. Let me not make my life complicated. Keep it simple. What I require, my necessities, I need to take. That's all. This is Arjavam, simplicity. Tolerance. Shanti. Then Jnana Vijnana. Jnana. What Jnana? Not diplomacy, politics. And no. Jnana means cultivating Brahma Jnana. He cultivates. He tries to understand what is Krishna saying, what is Prabhupada saying, what is Bhagavatam saying, what is Bhagavad Gita. He tries to cultivate Jnanam. If there is no endeavor to cultivate spiritual knowledge, then it is not a healthy sign. Vijnanam. Then he has got realization. He has got realization. He's not simply speaking something from the book. He also is having realization. So these are symptoms of a Brahmana. Likewise, there is symptoms of a person who is in Rajoguna. What are the symptoms of a Rajoguna? That's all there. a person in the a person who is in Rajoguna, it is said, he's full of unlimited desire. And the most prominent desire is sex desire. This attraction between man and woman is very prominent. Very, very prominent. So this is symptom of Rajoguna. And works very, very hard to fulfill his desires. Because there are so many desires, so many ambitions. Works very hard. Intense endeavor. No limit to his satisfaction. Very greedy. 1 BHK house, no, I want 2 BHK house. 2 BHK house, no, I want penthouse. No, I want more. No limit. No limit to his greed. For what? For sense gratification. This is Rajoguna. Ugra karma, working hard. For what? Sense enjoyment. So like this. Tamoguna. What is Tamoguna? What is the nature? A person, he loves to sleep. Lazy fellow. Lazy fellow, likes to sleep. At least Rajoguna person is little active. This Tamoguna person is very lazy. Procrastinating. Kal karenge, baad mein karenge, fir kabhi karenge. And he's usually addicted to all these intoxicants. Alcohol, drugs. It's all tamasic. So like that, there are all these, one can see, these are all qualities. Based on their activities, we can see what guna that person is. But the good news is, regardless of what guna these people are, the people who came to Prabhupada, what was their, what guna they were in? They were third class. They were into all sinful activities. Hippies, what was their life? Illicit sex, having live-in relationship, having drugs, LSD, they were doing ganja, all nonsense. They were drinking, they were doing. These are the people who came. And these are the people who became Vaishnavas. And they went around the world establishing centers of Krishna. So how did this transformation happen? Why? Because they came in touch with a pure devotee. Coming in touch with a pure devotee, once you come in touch with it, doesn't matter what your background is, whichever guna you are in the deepest of tamoguna. But once you agree to follow the teachings and you associate with the pure devotee, you become elevated, exalted. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhira shumbha yavana kasadaya ye necha papa yadapashaya shaya shuddhanti tasmai prabha vishnave namaha. These are statements in the Bhagavata. There are these people who are lower than the Chatur Varnya, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. There are people who are even lower than this, who are Panchamas, lower than that. Kirata, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, Kasadaya. These are all people who are outside the Vedic civilizations. And even such people who are so fallen, all of them, once they come in touch with a devotee, they can be exalted to the highest platform of becoming a pure devotee. So that is, does that help, Madhuri?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Isha.
Yeah, Prabhuji, like even the people who are in devotional path or even the devotees, sometimes there is Rajoguna, Tamoguna may take prominence or dominance over the Sattvaguna. Then we have to again do the chanting to purify ourselves and bring it back our mind to Sattvaguna, right? I mean, like how we can be always in Sattvaguna. Like I know we can see like when we are in the work, yeah, we have to get dwelled into the work at that point of time. Then again, because of that thing, all impurities will come into the play. Then again, we have to go back and do chanting. But what I'm trying to say is like, though we are in our day-to-day work, how we can be always in Sattvaguna.
Yeah, see, the goal for a devotee is not to be in Sattvaguna. Goal for a devotee is to be in Shuddha Sattva, transcend the three gunas. Because even if I'm attached to being in Sattva-guna, that also is bondage. So a Vaishnava transcends the three gunas. Nishtray gunya bhava Arjuna. Krishna is saying, transcend the three modes. Nishtray gunya bhava Arjuna. So that is the platform of a pure devotee. He's even above Sattva-guna. So anyway, the point is how to come to that platform. It does not come overnight. One has to practice. So these practices of chanting the holy names, associating with the devotees, hearing Krishna Katha, participating in deity worship, offering prayers, observing Ekadashi, hearing the Krishna Katha, that is through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all of these things, they help us to gradually elevate from wherever we are. It will help us to overcome Tamoguna, all the traces of Rajoguna. Then we'll start manifesting Sattva-guna. Your taste will change. You will not like to associate with people of lower gunas. You will not like to associate, unless for the sake of preaching to them. Otherwise, you don't want to live with them because you have developed higher taste. You want to live with Vaishnava. I want to associate and live with Vaishnava. And for preaching purpose, yes, I will go even to the third class person. I will go and associate and meet and talk to them and live with them for the sake of transforming them. But otherwise, given a choice, I want to be with Vaishnava. So it's a gradual process. As we keep taking the medicine, the disease of material contamination starts going away. We will not be interested. Earlier, we were very attached to eating meat. Now we don't want to eat meat because we can see it is so sinful. It leads to bondage and it is so much of karmic reactions. No, I don't want. I'm seeing one can appreciate how my greed is coming down. My anger is coming down. I prefer a simple lifestyle. My desire for sense enjoyment is coming down. So one can see, one can experience all these things. And when you look back and see what my life was before coming and now, there will be a sea of a change. How? Because the process is taking you upward in consciousness. So it's a gradual process. And when you and as we and that is our whole purpose, how to purify our consciousness. Human life is meant for that purpose because everybody is contaminated. If you are a pure devotee, you will not be born in this world. You are born in this world means because you are sinful. You have a material body means you are sinful. That's why you are born. So that means we have to purify ourselves. We are carrying so many loads of reactions. We have to purify ourselves. We have to purify all this the influence of the lower gunas that we have. And then we'll become less and less interested in sense enjoyment. We'll become more and more interested in devotional services. So it's a lifetime project. So Prabhupada says this, that if you do your 16 rounds of chanting every day, 1 hour of reading Prabhupada's books every day, and hearing of Bhagavatam lectures given by the devotees, those who are representing Srila Prabhupada sincerely, you hear from them Bhagavatam every day, and engage in some simple deity worship. If you do these things every day, these were in his instructions to initiated devotees, then Maya will not touch you. It is like taking a daily vaccination against the influence of these gunas. You are secure. Day to day, you must take the medicine. Day to day. Because every day you are getting contaminated. When you associate with somebody who is having so many materialistic desires, you will also contaminate. He will be talking about, I went here, I did this, I have a Harley Davidson, I climbed this mountain, I did this. So many things he will talk about, how he's enjoying his life. If you associate with such people, then you'll also think, oh, I'm missing something in life. Maybe I should also do that. Maybe I should also go there. Already he has influenced you. So, but if you are taking this daily medicine. This is called sadhana. Daily you are chanting holy names, you are hearing Krishna Katha, you are reading books of Prabhupada, you are doing your deity worship. When you do this as a sadhana, then you have the strength to withstand all this contamination. Then you may go wherever you may go. And at some point in time, you'll become so immune. Wherever you are, you will not get affected. But anybody who comes in touch with you, they will get impacted. Just like Prabhupada, wherever he went, he was mixing with all people of all third class, fourth class, 10th class consciousness. But what is the result? Coming in touch with him, they became transformed. There are many sadhus and so-called gurus who went abroad from India. They came to US, they came to many other places. But instead of transforming the people, they became transformed. They started eating meat. They were never eating meat before, but after coming here, they started eating meat, and they started so many nonsense things. So that is the when the power of association. Always we understand this as science students. So from say if it is pressure or if it is from higher to lower, there is a flow. If that person is so. If I think that I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to be very easily influenced, then I do not want to go. If I feel that no, I can withstand and rather I can be of influence to them, then I will go. So one can assess that strength will come. That despite being there, I can feel secure in my consciousness. So like that. So there is a program which Prabhupada has given so that in our day-to-day, you may be, you are having a household life, we are having a regular job, and we are working with so many colleagues. We are going to shops, you're meeting with people, your neighbors. They're all of different background. We have no control over them. But despite all of those interactions and being with them and spending time with them, so long we are following our sadhana, we can be absolutely secure. We can be fully protected, and we can make steady advancement. Yes, that's the program. That's the program which Prabhupada has given. But are we eager to take that medicine? Are we eager to take that daily vaccination? Or are we happy to remain where I am in my lower gunas? And slowly, let me see. This year I'm chanting 1 round. After 2 years, I will do 2 rounds. If that is the pace we want to progress, if that is the seriousness we have, then we will remain like that. Krishna is eager to see us very quickly. This lifetime you finish your business and come. No, why are you stuck here? Why are you wasting your time? One lifetime, if you follow the process as given by the acharyas, you can be free. Don't make a plan to continue and take one more birth. Finish the business. And this is the process. Follow the process. So we should be eager to take the medicine. Yes, I must chant. Yes, I must read. Yes, I must hear every day. I must hear Bhagavatam lectures. Yes. That eagerness should be there. Then we are fit candidates for finishing the business of Bhava Roga. This is Bhava Roga. What Roga? We talk about so many Rogas. Roga means disease. This Bhava Roga. This disease of material contamination. One has to cross. This is the ultimate test. Whatever sadhana you have done, whatever bhajana you have done will be tested at the time of death. Will be tested. If you have very nicely practiced, if you are very nicely practiced in this lifetime, remembering Krishna, then at the time of death, you will remember Krishna. And then there is no more birth. But if I have not very seriously practiced, then we'll have to wait. So the choice is in our hands. Is that okay?
Yeah, that really helps, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. We look forward to meeting again next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo,
Krishna.
Haribo.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.